company would have cash flow of $100 million next year, and it is expected to grow at 2% forever. The risk-free rate is 2%, beta is 1.5, and market risk premium 4%. So let's compute the discount rate using CAPM. Risk-free rate plus beta times market risk premium, 8%. What is the value of the company? Using golden growth model based on these simple assumptions, well, next year's cash flow divided by R minus growth rate of cash flow 2%. That's 1666.67. Then second bullet point, okay, wow, the company is actually in an emerging market where there is a 20% chance that the country will collapse, in which case the cash flow would shrink down to $50 million. Now value it again. What? Well, value in case of collapse will be 50, the cash flow next year, divided by the same R minus G. Don't change this R minus G. Okay? Your cash flow is already incorporating that trouble situation. Don't work with the others, right? So that the value in this distress will be 833.34. Now, what's your fair value of your company? Well, probability weighted average of your values in each different case. Up case and down case, those cash flows, and probability, and sum it up. Right? So 1500 is fair value in this case. Now you will say, where do we get those probability, right? Right? It's a judgment call a little bit, and that's where you have to talk to the consulting companies, right? Like Eurasia.com kind of guys. They are focused more on geopolitical risk issues and get some ideas about that. They're expert opinions. What's your probability estimate of North Korea going into war? Right, like that. So that's where your expert opinion matters. Okay. Remember, just like the true value of a firm is not observable, the true value, true market risk premium is not observable. You have to estimate it. Historical premium is the thing we've done so far. The next one is about implied risk premium. What is this? This is, okay, implied premium. If you assume that stocks are correctly priced in the aggregate, and we can estimate the expected cash flows from buying stocks. We can estimate the expected rate of return on stocks by computing an internal rate of return. What is internal rate of return? Do you remember? IRR? That is? Internal rate of return is the rate. Internal rate of return is? Can you say it aloud?
Discount rate that makes net present value is equal to 0.
Did everybody hear that? Clear? Right. So the NPV equals to 0. What is the discount rate that makes it 0? Okay? So what's the idea over here? You say aggregate market level, we capture it by market index level. Okay? That's going to be your initial investment. If you put your money into the market index right now at this current market index level, what is the discount rate that justifies its future cash flow coming from this market index investment? Okay? So let's throw out an example. Here's S&P 500 index, 1418 today. And then treasury rate 10 years is 1.81%. And then what we need is this relation. S&P 500 index, that's today's investment. And it comes with expected cash flow in the future. By holding on to S&P 500 stocks, there will be some dividends coming to me, right? Okay, 500 different stocks if I invested, and there will be 500 different dividends in the future. future that I will get in the infinite future. Let's assume we can get some good idea about average dividend and the average growth rate of this dividend, okay? Of these all different companies. So the strong assumption, can we get those expected dividends from all different stocks and all different growth rates? If we have those information, we can do this math, okay? Dividend next year, and then growing at a slow rate forever, and discounted at a certain rate, we just don't know. We have this value, we have estimates of this one, guess of this one, or information of this, then we solve for this discount rate. That justifies this equilibrium. Okay, the market has to be a fair game. How much you pay today should be equal to how much you expect to get in the future. So what is the discount rate that justifies this equilibrium? That's IRR concept. IRR concept. Because you take this to the other side, this is initial investment, future cash flow, NPV equals 0, right? So, for this part, we don't have dividend information yet, but we have other related information. Price earnings ratio 16.3 times, and dividend payout ratio 60%, and expected earnings growth rate 1.87%. Now, then we can solve for RM. How? Dividend should be nothing but your EPS times payout ratio. Make sense? Payout ratio information, we got it. Now, EPS, how do we get it? Okay, that's next year's EPS, but nothing but today's EPS times 1 plus growth rate of EPS. And then today's EPS, you can infer using this PE ratio of 16.31 times. Because PE ratio is price per share divided by earnings per share, which is 16 times, right? And then, if we flip it, inverse it, right? 1 over PE, that's going to be this guy, earnings over price. There, if we multiply this guy by price and cancels each other out, what is that? It will be EPS only, which is 1 over 16.31. Okay, fractional number. Now what we do? Stick it into this equation, right? And then you will see that price that we multiply it to 1 over PE ratio is shown, and then 1 plus growth rate times payout ratio, then divided by R minus G equals the price of S&P 500 index level. Then you will see that, oh, these two guys cancel each other out. Makes our life simpler. And then we can solve for RM. That's 5.62%. Don't stop there. That's just an IRR, right? Internal rate of return that justifies this investment. Now, what do we do? Our final destination is the risk premium. So we have to subtract RF from this one. Many people stop over here in our exam and get some points off. That's a negative way of differentiating yourself. So don't stop there, right? If you subtract RF, you will find that it is 3.8%. One example not enough. 2 examples, please. Okay. Here's Korean stock market. Okay, Korean stock market. With similar information, you can solve for implied equity premium of Korean market. You can do it, and then we're going to check it next class. Implied premium graph is shown over here. Some researcher did this work. Every year, they got the information of PE ratio in the average P ratio in the market, average payout ratio in the market, and then index level, and its dividend growth rate. With those information, at every time point, they solve for RM minus RF, the implied equity premium, updated with this updated information, and plotted it as a time series up until 2018. Now, what do we see? In times of dot-com bubble, or if everybody wants to go to the stock market and invest something, their implied premium is very low. Okay? Compared to risk-free rate, just give me 2% more return, I'm going to put my money into the stock market. Okay? Everybody jumps into the stock market. We call it bubble situation. Eventually bubble pops up, bing, and then burst, and then here is a contrasting situation. Unless you give me this kind of 6.5% return, I'm not going to invest. Don't even look at stock market. I'm scared. Implied premium is extremely high. That's called panic. Okay? Bubble and panic is something we can see by looking at implied premium. It's a real-time based gauge of people's risk aversion. Okay, risk premium has to do with average investors' risk aversion. You are more risk averse, premium will be higher. Okay? Implied premium will be higher. And we are living in this kind of situation right now, at least in the United States, hovering back and forth in upper level. Okay? So that's the idea. Yeah. So we're going to come back next week and then talk about this part later. And see you on Tuesday.